overall, just kind of watching over my heart rate during the days that I would not smoke and then the days that I would smoke, I'm putting in like tens of thousands of extra beats on my heart on days that I smoke. Unnecessary. I'm not fighting for my life. I wasn't exercising. Just sitting there. My heart was beating tens of thousands more times every day. That's a lot of stress on the heart, for essentially nothing. All of us smokers, we know the risks of smoking, right? We know about lung disease, lung cancer. We know about heart disease. We know about emphysema. We know about COPD. We know all of these things as smokers, but yet continue to smoke anyway, despite knowing how bad it can be. And we're not really like comprehending these debilitating diseases that we can get as being real or being true. So my this is one of my methods as I was working my way down the stretch to quitting smoking was I basically found a way to bring that threat, that ideological threat over here that didn't exist inside my own life, inside my own circle, which is the reason why a lot of us, it doesn't really affect us to know these things. I found a way to bring that threat to me. I found a way to bring it home, and it started to have an effect on me from there on. So I'm one of those guys with a Fitbit watch. And I'm not the guy with a Fitbit watch who is super concerned with being super, super fit. I'm the guy who has health anxiety and so wears one to be sure that he's not dying of a heart attack at any given point during the day. Okay, so it's not really that bad. I actually got one because I was planning on getting fit at one point, and we're still working towards that goal. But now that I have one, I can look anytime I want to at my resting heart rate, my heart rate as I'm up and moving around, anytime I can just look. So what I noticed is that during days that I am a smoker, and I'm going to be comparing these days versus the days that I was not a smoker, and I'm going to demonstrate to you the negative cardiovascular effects that smoking can have. And you can see it like real time, like right now, how serious it is. So you don't have to wait 20, 30 years to develop some sort of disease. I got to see this like firsthand right away in a matter of days. So my resting heart rate on days that I would not smoke, sitting on the couch, just normal afternoon, resting heart rate probably high 70s, maybe just a touch on 80. And if I had to get up for any reason, be it to feed the dog, just throw together a snack or something, heart rate would be 110 to 120. It's a pretty significant spike just from standing up and walking into the other room. But nonetheless, that's what I experienced. It's not so much about the spike, it's about the overall heart rate. So from high 70s to 110s. And now on days that I don't smoke, especially for like a day, if a couple days has passed and I still haven't smoked, after a couple days, I noticed that my resting heart rate when I'm just sitting around casual will be in the 50s, mid 50s maybe. You get out of here. Got a kitty in here. And if I would get up to, like I said, go just do a little small task around the house or something, or feed the dog or whatever, heart rate would spike into the 80s. So from 50s to 80s would be my heart rate during days that I do not smoke. Anyway, bottom line, 50s to 80s during days when just normal routine stuff around the house and I was not smoking. 70s, basically 80, all the way up into the 110s during just regular routine tasks. Guys, the 110s, that's like cardio. That's like cardio right there, heart rate. On regular days, just because I was a smoker, was hitting cardio targets. Just overall, just kind of watching over my heart rate during the days that I would not smoke and then the days that I would smoke, I'm putting in like tens of thousands of extra beats on my heart on days that I smoke. Unnecessary. I'm not fighting for my life. I wasn't exercising. Just sitting there. My heart was beating tens of thousands more times every day. That's a lot of stress on the heart, for essentially nothing. It's just trying to push out more oxygen because that's how much oxygen is being stolen from your system from when you're smoking. And on top of this, blood pressure was higher on days that I would smoke too. Naturally, you would know that, right? All of us know that. However, increased heart rate with higher blood pressure every day that you smoke. I mean, so you're doing this for days, weeks, months, years, just this constant pressure, this extra stress on your heart and your cardiovascular system. You're begging for a stroke or a heart attack. Or if you are somehow lucky enough not to have either of those happen, you're still begging for coronary artery disease or some sort of cardiovascular disease to where your heart just is not efficient enough after all the abuse it's been put through. That's me noticing that by itself was the way that I kind of brought home these fears, these things that you see, these horror stories we were talking about in the beginning of the video that we're not really exposed to, so they don't really creep into us, and it's like we really don't understand what we're watching. It's like, yeah, this person on TV had some sort of like a limb replacement or something, or had to have a limb taken off because of artery disease, and then, oh, I'm gonna light a cigarette while I sit here. It doesn't connect. So basically, one of the methods that I'm trying to tell you that I used was I found a way to connect my fear of these diseases and bring them home and realize, hey, this is happening to me right. What do you want from me? Happening to me right now. And it's a measurable effect that I can see occurring. When you think about these diseases that we're talking about, when we're talking about emphysema, we're talking about some sort of coronary artery disease or something along those lines, or some sort of cancer. These things, these are progressive diseases that just get worse. You know, so if you don't have one of these diseases now, but you're still smoking, you should do what you can and try to find a way to stop before it's too late and you already get these diseases. Because at that point, it's too late. When you end up with COPD, it's too late. You know, and then you basically get to live a lesser quality of life for the rest of your life while you feel like you're suffocating trying to get air all the time. I mean, that's like a miserable way to live. And you can avoid that if you stop before it ever gets to you. So by me bringing the threat home like I was talking about, but without actually having like that disease, it's kind of hard to do it in any other method aside from the one I basically just mentioned to you, which was, you know, just monitor your heart health, and you'll see right away the difference. But don't keep smoking until you hit a point where it's too late. You know, don't end up going to the doctor one day and finding out you have COPD, you know, or emphysema, or just something that's irreversible. That's just going to have a really bad effect on the rest of your life. If you're already thinking about quitting, and you probably are, because that's why you're on this video right now, sometimes you just have to take drastic measures and just find a way to make it work. You know, quit cold turkey, check yourself in somewhere if you have to for a few days, and get over the first rough patch, the first, you know, till the nicotine's out of your system. Okay, so before I go off on this other huge rant, we're just going to stop there. But I just wanted to share with you one of the things that I went through, one of the things that kind of mentally prepared me to want to quit smoking, and not only want to quit smoking, but to not want to smoke again. That is the idea here, is to get you to a point where you don't want another cigarette. You know, it's not about fighting cravings and, oh, I miss the taste. No, you're going to be, hopefully by the time you're done with all the videos that I'm going to throw out to you here, you're going to be thinking, oh God, I can't even think about smoking a cigarette because it makes me want to puke. Because that's kind of where I am right now when it comes to cigarettes. I'm still going to have cravings because I've smoked, you know, for over 20 years. It was a huge part of my life. But when I have these cravings, it makes me kind of like, it activates my gag reflex and just makes me sick to even think about smoking. So I'm in a good place right now to continue this quit probably for the rest of my life. And hopefully we can get you to that same place. But yeah, in the meantime, just take care of yourself. I'm going to try to get the next video out as soon as possible. And until then, just good luck to you, and hopefully you can kick that habit before we even have to get to the next video. You know, just do whatever you can. Just try to get to a point where you are healthy and happy. I'll see you in the next video.